It's nice to be down here on the ground with you guys. It's a little bit more intimate. And it's nice to connect with you rather than being up there on the stage. So as you know, my name is Tom Cronin, and I've been meditating for 17 years now, morning and evening. I've done countless retreats in Australia, Bali, and India. And in some of those retreats requires meditating up to 14 hours a day. And I've guided hundreds and hundreds of people to find inner peace and stillness through that portal of meditation. I've recently walked away from a very successful career in finance as a broker. I traded millions of dollars, billions of dollars actually, a day, trading swaps and bonds for the banks. And I've dedicated myself to my mission of bringing stillness to the planet through meditation. Today I'm going to be talking about stillness. What stillness is, how we find it, and what we experience once we've got it. Now, some of you may have seen the film. It's actually a remake of The Karate Kid. And there's a scene in that film where Mr. Han, he takes young Dre high up this very steep set of stairs to a monastery or an ashram right up in the mountains of China. And it's up there in that monastery that he says to young Dre, being still and doing nothing are two very different things. So how do these two things differ? How is doing nothing and stillness different? And we're going to explore that now. So what I'd like you to do for me is we're going to go on a little journey. So I'd like you to close your eyes. And I want you to visualize a scene where you're standing in the queue of the world's largest and scariest roller coaster ride. And you're the next one to get on. And the train of that roller coaster has just pulled in after the last ride, and you're at the front of the queue, and your friends have just gotten off it, and they were white as ghosts and looked petrified. And you're about to get on this. How does that feel? Okay, now open your eyes. You thought I was going to take you into stillness, didn't you? So if someone was to walk into this room and saw you, they would say, well, these people are doing nothing. And yet, were you really? How much was going on inside your body? There was so much changing inside your body. So what is stillness? Stillness is defined as the absence of motion. And yet you had a lot of motion going on inside your body. Our bodies are printed out of our minds. Every single thought we have is a corresponding shift within the physiology. Sometimes it's very obvious as we go and play soccer, go to a nightclub, go to a conference, get on a train. Sometimes it's very subtle as we sit with our eyes closed and there's still motion within that physiology. Every thought, there's a physiological and biochemical shift. This is happening 50, 60, 70,000 thoughts every single day, every single second. Without a gap in between, there is a thought. And with each thought, there is a shift within the physiology. And this is happening all day, every day. And it's exhausting. Because we are at a point of overwhelm as we process more information now than we've ever processed before in the history of mankind. We're at a breaking point with our nervous system having to digest so much information. And we have normalized to a life where we have ADHD, insomnia, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, cancer, MS, high blood pressure, cholesterol. We have a society that is riddled with imbalance, and we have no idea how this is happening, how we got here. So, if stillness is the absence of motion, how do we experience stillness? We need to still the mind. True stillness is the stillness of mind and body. There was a fantastic study done at Berkeley University where when the mind is still, the physiological state of rest achieved in the body is 4 times deeper than sleep. It's a profound state of rest. Your metabolic rest rate when the mind is still is quite outstanding. They did these tests with EEGs, blood plasma levels, breath rate, pulse rate, skin elasticity. And it was quite remarkable how deep the body went in rest when the mind is awake and alert, and yet it is still. Very different to sleep, 4 times deeper than sleep. So what happens when we arrive at stillness, and how do we get to it? We've discovered what stillness is. Stillness is a state of mind and body harmonized without motion. How do we get there? If I was to tell you all to just not have a thought, you'll be having a thought about not having a thought, which of course is motion. If I tell you not to think of a pink elephant, you'll be thinking of a pink elephant. So, telling your mind to sit still is not going to be possible. If you lived in that monastery up in China where you didn't have Facebook, Twitter, SMS, boyfriends, girlfriends, mortgages, children, conferences to go to, trains to catch, then it may be possible, it would be possible, to spend many, many hours emptying your mind of thoughts and sitting still. You guys don't live there. I just walked up York Street to get here and it's mayhem out there. Who in the last hour has looked at their phone to read a Facebook, a Twitter, an SMS, take a call? Down the back I can see someone with their phone right now doing something. We're absorbing so much information, our mind is constantly feeding it like a junkie. And you guys are the dealer, constantly supplying this mind with information, and it doesn't know how to stop. The mind is seeking charm. It's the nature of the mind to seek charm. It loves to analyze. It loves to digest. It loves to process. The mind shoots off into the future and into the past. It keeps people like Claire very busy because a lot of people love to dwell in the past. That's where the mind thrives. It loves to worry about the future. Oh my God, I hope everything works out tomorrow. The mind is a fascinating beast that it just fools us all the time, creates false experiences, fear, future events appearing real. So in our lifestyle, it's very difficult for us to still the mind using the concept of stilling the mind. I teach a technique of meditation where we get a tool, a vehicle. It's called a mantra. A mantra is where we get 2 English words. Manas is where we get the word mind, and tra is where we get the word truck. This is an ancient Sanskrit dialect. Many of our English words come from Sanskrit. So mantra. Mantra is a mind vehicle that takes the mind from the active thought-filled state down into quieter and quieter, subtler states. How do we get to stillness when the mind loves thinking? The mind is only actually seeking charm. That's all the mind wants. It wants charm. So when we introduce the mantra, we introduce something very charming. These sounds have a particular quality about them. And we still the mind using these mantras through a process called entrainment. Entrainment is a fascinating process. If I was to put cuckoo clocks on this wall, one cuckoo clock, and then I put another cuckoo clock next to it. Then after a few hours or a few days, I put another cuckoo clock, and another one, and another one. Slowly, over time, eventually that entire wall of 40 cuckoo clocks would all sync in with each other. It's a natural phenomenon. It happens everywhere, all day, every day. Women that live together sync in with their cycles. If this room was a Metallica concert right now and Metallica were playing right behind me, your vibration would be very different because you would sync into the frequency of not only the music, but the vibration of the whole audience as they rocked it out. If you were in a rainforest, you'd sink into the surrounds of the rainforest and you'd harmonize your vibration. This is happening everywhere. Someone comes into a room and they're really pissed off and they start getting angry at you, they will automatically get you to sync in with their vibration. And this is what we're doing in our relationships. We're all looking to sync and harmonize or entrain our vibrations with everyone else. The same thing happens with this process of meditation. It's very simple. I worked on a trading room floor, 100 screaming testosterone-fueled guys, buy, sell, buy, sell. I would walk off that trading room floor, I'd go into the boardroom, I would sit down, I would start repeating my stillness sound, and I would drop into a very deep state of meditation within 15, 20 minutes, and after 20 minutes I would get up and I'd go back to the trading floor and I'd start yelling and screaming with them. Entrainment is the process where these stillness sounds have a vibration, a particular frequency. When you repeat that sound, it's very peaceful to the mind. It has a particular harmonized frequency. And the brain will move from beta brainwave state, which is a very active, short, sharp, stimulated state, down into more subtle and quieter states, and eventually arrive at delta brainwave state, which is a deep meditation state. Very simple, very effortless. All you do is close your eyes after I've given you your sound, and you repeat the sound for 20 minutes, and the mind and body does the rest for you. It's a very effortless process. This technique is derived from a very ancient practice in India where these people didn't live in monasteries. They were what we called householders. They were people that had jobs, they had wives and children, and it was very accessible even in ancient India. It's a householder technique as opposed to a renunciant technique, which is one from monasteries where they don't have the stimulation that we have. And so that's how we get there. We've discovered what stillness is. We've discovered how we get there. And now, here's the gold. What happens when we arrive at stillness? When the body reaches a state of rest 4 times deeper than sleep, an incredible intelligence within the body gets activated. The body has a remarkable capacity to heal itself, and it will do this every time it gets in this deep state of rest. The body knows how to heal itself. It knows how to eradicate imbalance. My own personal experience will validate this. 20 years ago, I suffered from chronic anxiety, depression, insomnia, agoraphobia. I could not leave my house. The demands of leaving my front door was so overwhelming for my nervous system after I shattered it with 10 years of crazy, decadent, ridiculous lifestyle habits that I couldn't cope. Doctors wanted to put me on medicine, more drugs. I said, well, I've done enough of that. And therapists wanted to talk about the things that I did and the things that I was worried about in the future. And no disrespect to Claire, she does amazing things, I know that. But it wasn't something that I wanted to go down that path. I sat in stillness, and my body remarkably did everything that I needed it to do. The depression went away, the anxiety went away, the insomnia went away, the agoraphobia went away. That's what went away. But then what happened was joy arrived, bliss arrived, an open heart of love arrived, creativity arrived, success in every field of my life arrived. When we vibrate with a vibration of peace, love, joy, and abundance, the laws of attraction kick in. Well, they're always kicked in, and I started to attract very different things in my life through the simple process of quietening my mind and experiencing my essential nature. Each and every one of you has within you, at your very core, stillness. You have bliss, you have quietness, you have harmony, you have love, you have inner peace at your very core. It's all within you. And this night really represents that. Let it begin within. Thank you very much. You're amazing within your own right, regardless of what your mind's telling you. Have a good night.